What's up, everybody? Trinity here. Welcome back to the 2nd Street Marvel Board. I just got home from my morning bike ride. I went out and did about almost 30 miles. It's 28 miles. Yeah, I averaged 19.2 miles an hour. That's not too bad. It was a flat ride, though. It was mostly flat for the most part today. It was about an hour and a half. I just got home, I hung my bike up, and I'd taken my shoes off, got my water bottles off, and I was getting ready to upload my ride, and that's when the UPS driver pulled up. I knew the UPS driver was getting ready to stop in with this package because I got the little notification this morning. So I got home, and he got there. It was like kind of like perfect timing, and he hands me my package from RIPPAVERSE comics, and I'm telling you, like, if I didn't see the guy, I didn't know any better, I would swear that fucking Ace Ventura delivered this package to my house. I mean, look at this thing. Regardless of all that, I'm gonna get into this box and see what the contents look inside and keep my fingers crossed and hope that nothing is damaged in here, because I mean, it literally looks like somebody was playing soccer with this thing and before it came in. But let's go ahead and get into this. So this is what the package looked like when I got it, and you flip this thing over and you can see like on there, like the tape, like it's completely looks like it's like this thing looks like it's been opened up, like the kind of tape this is. I don't think that you this kind of tape don't just tear like that. So I'll feel very fortunate if everything is in this box and if it's not all damaged. But it seems like everything arrived. We got all of our items and there was no major damages except for this one book, which kind of sucks because this was one of the signed copies that I got that I wanted to give away to one of our channel members, where it kind of got this little bit of ding right here. But that was really about it. All items came in, and I even got went ahead and put the shirt on, and it feels nice and lightweight, not too thick. You know, sometimes the shirts can feel a little bit thick, like they're gonna be hot. The print feels pretty good. We'll see how it holds up on subsequent washes, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can see how it holds up over the test of time. Let's see how it does, because you know, sometimes finding a good shirt, finding like good shirt printers is hard to do. You know, like finding one that stands the test of time, just like that good quality stuff. Now, I want to start talking about the comic book itself. I'm not really going to get into a whole lot of spoilers about this book. One of the things I'm sure they even mention here in the book itself is they want to see reviews, they want us to talk about it, and they want to hear those critiques, even your harshest critiques, they want to hear. And I will be talking about some of the things that I don't always talk about in a lot of the comic books that I do here on the channel of Comic Book Reviews. But sometimes I do when there's times that I feel like saying some of these things, I say them. And I will start off by saying the price of this book. You know, like, I know a lot of people out there have kind of made a big deal about this. 35 pages for a 96-page book is not that expensive if you're comparing it, especially if you're comparing it to what it needs to be compared to, an indie comic, not necessarily even from a publisher. I would say this would have to be compared more to a crowd-funded indie book at this point, because this company did just start up out of nowhere. They don't have a whole staff of writers, a whole staff of a whole lot of anybody really here how it all started off with just the comic book itself. There's no, you know, bigger publisher out there. This Eric July did just start his own company. And so thinking about that, I would say it's got to compare to other books like that, and I would say $35. This is kind of right that same price range. A lot of books out there that are going, especially with the cover quality here, the cardstock cover, and even the inside pages, I would say that this is definitely above standard quality. Not everybody gets this nice of stuff for their books. But even the price, a lot of these usually fall in usually that $30 to $40 price range. This is kind of falling in between those. Sometimes you'll find some for $25, but other than that, the price itself is pretty reasonable and comparable to other books out there like this that would be in this same kind of category. But again, good cardstock quality on the cover, and definitely good heavy quality page stock cover or page stock here as well. And the inks on it seem to be pretty nice. The cover is glossy. And altogether feels like a pretty good quality book. I will say, however, the only thing is like right here on like the spines, a lot of these, like this one feels a little squashy, and I know it's like when I kind of open up the inside, you can see a little bit of the glues and everything in there. And I'm not trying to spread this thing all open and all crazy or anything anyway, but the thing is like those are kind of hard to get, and something they'll probably get better in as over time. It just doesn't feel, it feels a little less like less strong. But other than that, like I said, I'm not trying to manhandle this thing or anything like that as well. But then getting into the story here, I thought the story was pretty good. It reminds me of just kind of like a 90s kind of action flick. I mean, imagine if you mixed, say, Friday with a superhero movie. That's kind of what you've got here with our main character, Avery Stillman, who is like, he's a chingon. Like, this dude goes out and he's starting fights, picking fights and getting into shit. Like maybe he should be. Like, maybe you need to step back and think about this for a second. But he kind of gets called into this situation because obviously somebody that he grew up knowing through church, through his mother and things like that, because they kind of talked about the service. He ends up getting into this because his sister gives him a call about this girl that's gone missing, somebody they've known pretty much since she was a child, since they were children, you know, like pretty much a lot of their lives. And so they go ahead and they go, he decides to go look into this. He has to go talk to somebody that he kind of knows from his old days, you know, in school. And he ends up getting into some trouble, and there's some happenstance things that happen here as well, where he comes across another one of these superheroes. And altogether, I think the story itself was pretty good. It made me laugh at some parts. Like, it was just fun and entertaining, and it was a page turner. I got through it pretty quick. Now, as far as getting into the art of this book, and again, something I probably should have said at the first as well, is that when you're getting into this, like, nobody's going, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. There's not like some crazy something going on that they're, you know, like expecting something new. Just got a kind of standard story here. Superhero getting introduced to our characters and some of the stuff that we want to see going into future issues. Is this going to hook you? For me, I think it did. Now, getting into the art, I would say I think the art here is pretty good. And it's definitely industry standard. Cliff Richards doing this art here definitely meets the, like I said, other things that would be comparable to other indie superhero comic books. I think it holds up. Now, there are some of the things in this book I think could be improved upon, and this is something I've said about plenty of books as well, and that is some of the backgrounds could stand to have more things in them to make them stand out, make things look lived in, make them look alive. And I see this in plenty of indie comic books as well anyway. But some of those things, just the kind of like a little bit goes a long way. Like here they did some, but just like maybe it's just a personal preference, but like just not enough. Like everything is there, but it looks a little too clean, a little too square. Like it doesn't look quite lived in enough. But other than that, this is something I see in plenty of other books. Also, this kind of style as well, where I see things like some of the panels, like some of the action panels, and just some of the things in general, even with some of the backgrounds, where it looks more of a manga style art. There are points in this where there's action going on as well that I would like to feel the action a little more, like more swooshes, more however, like something to show more of the motion of the characters. And I think some of that could be achieved just over time as they get into the series, and even like maybe even like an inker or just something to add a little bit more depth, like you see on the cover of this book. Just something, just a little bit to add some more depth to these to this art, because the art itself I think is pretty good, but I think an inker would probably help add some of that depth if Cliff Richards isn't able to do some of that inking himself. But I'm pretty sure that he's able to do that, because I've seen some of his other art as well. But I think just some of those things, because it's just like adding details in there. The color here I think is pretty good. I mean, I'm not sure again what constitute as bad or good. I mean, it looks pretty standard here. Altogether, I mean, I think the story here, the art here, the colors here, even the lettering, this is all kind of, I mean, it seems very industry standard. This book looks like something that I would see out of an AWA Upshot, an Aftershock Comics, some of those kind of indie publishers. And altogether, I mean, I think this stands up, and I feel pretty good about this purchase as far as everything, looking at the quality of the book, the story, the art, and kind of everything in between. Just kind of what I expected out of this book, and it was certainly a good read and something that I want to, I'm definitely looking forward to reading issue number 2, or even any of the other series that they're going to have kind of spinning out of this first book of ISOM issue number 1. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have read ISOM, let me know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about my critiques. Am I wrong? There just needs to be a little bit more of that stuff in that background to make it pop a little bit more. Definitely some inking or something, just adding a little bit more depth to like make that art really pop a little bit more. And I think this book definitely would be definitely comparable to some of the better things going on out there. I guess we'll see in the future how the future issues add up and build on this, because one of the things I will say definitely about comic books is not only obviously collectability and things, but is finding some ongoing superhero sagas that are interesting, that have that drama, that have all that superhero shit that you want to see out of a comic book. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of go into it, and it's not easily done. It's not easily done. That's why when in indie comics you see a lot of books out there that are mini series. You know, you'll find some that are 5 issues, 6 issues, 10 issues, you know, maybe 20 issues, 24, 30, like that. Like, that's pretty short for thinking about trying to build something ongoing, especially that you want people to be looking forward constantly. And I think they've got a good start here with ISOM issue number 1. Overall, I think this book was actually pretty dang good, and I am looking forward to future issues of ISOM and even the whole RIPPAVERSE universe. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.